Yeadon, Delaware County, Pennsylvania Borough Council Legislative Meeting for June 16, 2022 is called to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before the roll call tonight, I want to make a couple of observations for the benefit of the council and of the residents that are present here. I want to alert you to a couple of things. First of all, there are handouts that are available with regards to the function of council, the power of the president, the function of the mayor, and what our duties and responsibilities are. We'd like to take the approach to educate our constituency, our residents, as to how this process is supposed to go in terms of what the protocols are, what the code of conduct is, and to kind of rebuild the image of this community, which has been shamefully shattered over the past 4 or 5 months. So I'm imploring you tonight to cooperate with us as we try to conduct the business of this borough in the most positive fashion and form as allowed by our borough code and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania legislation. Having said that, we would like for you to make sure that all residents wishing to speak, which is required by law, that I get your request this first 15 minutes or so of the meeting starting. Any residents wishing to speak later in this meeting may not have that opportunity at that time because the agenda is so designed that you get to address any issues. Hence our workshop meeting, which occurred 2 weeks ago. You may be able to have some questions with regards to our engineers report, our public works report, our code department, our fire department. They gave full presentations at the workshop. And so if you have any questions regarding the agenda items, you may be able to do that as we begin and allow citizens their opportunity and their right to speak at this meeting. After that, our solicitor here is also, if you have any questions or concerns about the conduct and the code of conduct for counselors, Mr. Boggs here can address any of those issues going forward. So I hope that all of you here tonight will respect the order of this council and respect the order of this meeting. We are here to conduct the business of the borough. That's what you elected us to do. That's what you have an expectation that we will do to the best of our ability. Thank you very kindly for your consideration. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Madam President. Mayor Roland Hepburn, please. President Council Harris.
Present.
Vice President Ren Johnson.
Present.
Councilor Talia Jones-Waters.
Present.
Councilor Carlette Brooks.
Present.
Councilor Nicole Beatty.
Present.
Councilor Latoya Monroe. Absent. Councilor Leanna Rocloud.
Here.
Our solicitor has Mark Munch, but Mr. Boggs.
Present.
Thank you. Our Finance Director, Mr. Peace Nichols is absent. Our Tax Collector.
Present.
Thank you. And our Engineer.
Present.
Thank you. Madam President, that completes the roll call. We have one absent councilor and our Finance Director.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. can't pronounce your last name. Also, there's a timer, there's a 3-minute limit to your comments to the council.
You said, guess who verified those facts? The lawyers verified those facts. Do you have that statement I requested from Scott Goddell saying that these were verified by a lawyer? The reason we can't have meetings that look like other boroughs is because you abuse your position as a public servant, you lie to us, you ignore us, and you censor us. You force your personal agendas on the entire borough. You have abused your fiduciary responsibility by overpaying friends for services that they do not render. Carlette, you keep saying we need to give Sharon a chance. You don't seem to understand. Sharon has been given chance after chance. She has sat here before. She's not new like you. Neither is Talia or Loren. You're a businesswoman. We can't keep giving you a chance if you're going to check your business smarts at the door. Paying twice as much for a borough manager is not good business. $95K plus a $47K assistant instead of one experienced person for $70K. We're paying twice as much this year for a borough manager. Paying 4 times as much for a newsletter. This was, what, $6,700? These ones that actually had content and were bigger and had 8 pages, these were like $1,700. Paying 4 times as much for a newsletter. That's not good business. You wouldn't run your restaurant this way. Paying Gary Core 4 times as much as Hop Communications. Not good business, especially when he can't even do what he's being paid to do and maintain the websites. Paying $4,500 a month to Joel Avery. That's not good business. We never had a public relations specialist before. The counselor's here, Counselor Beatty, doesn't know what he does. Do you know what he does? This is not sensible. This is not business. The business of the borough is not getting conducted. It's not about politics. You know I never voted for Sharon. I also never voted for LaToya. Well, you might have guessed I never voted for Sharon. I've also never voted for LaToya. I'm not here because I'm a sore loser and my team lost. I'm here because what's happening is corrupt and is financially irresponsible. And Isaac knows it. In 2014, the last time Sharon sat in that chair, fired everyone, and hired who she wanted without advertising the positions, without providing council with information or credentials, Isaac had something to say about it. He called for Sharon and Loren's resignation. You have acted illegally and appear to be incompetent, Dotson said. When you ran for office, each one of you pledged to do no harm. Just a few months ago, we were on the precipice of having the kind of community we could take to the next level. Because of your incompetence, we find ourselves going backwards by 10 years. And here we are again, Mr. Dotson. But you say nothing. You've been bribed with a high-paying job outside your skill set.
Madam, your time is up.
Thank you. Rights have never been protected by decorum. Women and African Americans did not get the right to vote by decorum.
Clara Johnson.
She should not be stopped in the middle.
Yes, you should.
At least you didn't talk through me the entire time like usual. We're expected to respect you when you talk the entire time I'm giving a comment, every other time.
Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon. My comment is in reference to the caucus meeting that we had. The 2 first items on the agenda was not even discussed at caucus meeting. I am sure that all councilors on the floor do not know anything about A and B, the first 2 items on the agenda. So I don't even know how you can vote on that. How can that be on the agenda to vote tonight? I see on the AP list that we're working on taking down some trees around the borough. But on the agenda, but I did not see on the AP list the cost of what it costs, and I think Jeff was correct when he said that some shade trees were being removed. But there was nothing on the agenda to reflect that. Not the cost, not what services being rendered, nothing. On the AP list, I also see stage, banners, lawn sign, and something that says 95 signs in reference to Flag Day. That totals almost $1,400. Car show is almost $1,500. That I really don't understand why we're paying for his trophies and he's charging a lot fee for the cars that come in. He's not giving any of that back. We're losing on that interest. At the meeting, it was also stated that we're giving him $200 just to come into Yeadon. That's double dipping. You guys know that. That's double dipping. The DJ's charge is $3,000. We're up almost $1,800. How much can we expect from the vendors to even replace that so it's not a burden totally on the taxpayers during budgeting season? And where are the events for children on Flag Day? Everything is geared to the adults. Maybe somebody can answer. And I also see, and you also said that the solicitor maybe could answer this. Am I correct in saying that it is perfectly all right for Citizens Forum to be flip-flopped from beginning to end, caucus and legislative, but on, I'm sorry, I called it caucus workshop. On workshop, it should be what they're going to discuss on legislative night so that we can weigh in then. Can you please answer that? One of you said that he can answer. Can you please answer?
Any of your questions, Ms. Johnson, you can address to the borough manager after the meeting.
No. I'm not going to address anything to anyone on a personal note. It should be addressed because it's concerned of the community as well.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
And the borough manager doesn't like to stay
Angela Lee.
And he don't look like a solicitor either.
I have a concern about a street that I ride down with a new driver at my house. It's Y-cone between McDade and Bailey, so I didn't know whether that was a state highway or not. But I did contact PennDOT and get a control number to address that. So I need to find out from you, is that a state highway? Is that a municipal highway? That's a concern. Also, it's too late now, so I'm sure you didn't think about it, but August 2nd is National Night Out. I'd like to know what you're planning for that night, what are you going to do? Because there is a website called Be Smart for kids, and it has to do with guns. And this particular town in Royersford, PA, they're doing prep in July for that night out. Now, previously, we had a whole lot of wealth of information from the chief, who we don't have anymore. So I'd like to know who's taking up that banner for August 2nd. And I think that when you decide that you're going to do the next newsletter, things like that should be in there. So the name of the program is BeSmartForKids.org. So not only is it homicide, but it's also suicide. And that's a concern, especially with the pandemic. Also,
Ms. Lee, what was the name again, please?
it's called Be Smart. It's BeSmartForKids.org. They're doing a big thing for Police Night Out, and the chief used to do a big thing. I don't see anything about that. There wasn't anything in the newsletter, and I would appreciate if we did something because these kids are out. And that's basically it.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Ann?
Did my time start before I even got here?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do that too.
No, it sounded like the beeper started. I have thanks for taking the time to
Thank
listen
you,
to me.
Ann.
I have a couple of things that I'm concerned about, one of which is the budget. It seems like we're spending on a lot of different things, which are good things, but we need to make sure that we're focusing with regards to public safety. Public safety is very important. We know right now that the police are understaffed. I believe at the workshop, the current police chief said he was going to ask for 2 part-timers. On the agenda that I see tonight, there's only 1. There's a question with regards to why that is, because it sounded as if they had already identified 2. Did we already make the decision that we just wanted to spend for 1? I'm not sure. Some of the other things is every time we have the council, there's questions that are asked with regards to the bills. It seems like the questions are asked, but we never get answers to them. And I think that we really do need to take the time to figure out what's going on with those bills. It also looks as if we pay all the bills instead of if we've got a question on one of the bills, possibly holding it. There are questions with regards to Joel Avery. The last council meeting, he's getting $4,500 a month. That's $54,000 a year. People asked, what is he doing? It's public relations, one person said. And somebody said, well, what does that mean? What is he doing? We couldn't get an answer, yet we continue to pay him. There's concerns with regards to that. With regards to legal, there are currently a lot of well, I don't know about a lot, but there are 2 very well-known lawsuits that are currently against the borough right now. There are concerns with regards to, we don't know what's going to happen with the outcome of those lawsuits, but there are concerns with regards to what happens if it does go against the borough, what happens with the costs that would be incurred. We know that we were told that insurance would take care of that, but I'm not sure with regards to if there's punitive damages, where does that go? That also brings up a question, and there was the consent agreement with regards to the FOP. Would that have been covered by insurance? I'm not sure. The newsletter, that's been published a lot of times. There's concerns with regards to that. There are multiple people that are named in there that there's negative things that they're said about. Hopefully no additional lawsuits are going to come, but there is a concern with regards to that. Next item that I have is the finance report. It seems as if whenever we ask questions with regards to where are we going, with regards to where do we stand, where do we think we're going to end the year with regards to our expenses versus budget, we don't get the answers. We're told wait for the finance director. Well, he's not here tonight. With regards to the newsletter, just want to make sure that on the future, some of the things like the 2 times of trash collection in the summer months, and things like that should be included. It's things that people are very interested in being aware of. And then there was something that concerned me with regards to the news. I'm going to make one other comment. If you just bear with me, because it says that the consent award said that there was no admission of guilt on any of the borough officers, agents, employees, or representatives, and yet our fast facts is saying that somebody did something wrong. That concerns me. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Josiah Colacard?
Hello.
I just want to remind you that you have 3 minutes, sir.
That's fine. Hello, my name is Josiah Colacard. I won't take up too much of your time. I just wanted to come today to introduce myself. I sent an email to that was President Council Harris, Mayor Hopkins, and Lieutenant Burns in regards to a protest that I was planning. I was dubbing it the No More Hashtags protest in response to the various acts of gun violence that we have seen as of late. I simply wanted to come here and show face, as well as hand out written proposals if that would be permissible.
What you can do, you can give one proposal. You give one proposal to the manager, and then we will.
I'll take one. You have an extra copy.
I have several.
Actually, if you have several, just hand them all to Council Rocott, and we'll give them to the.
There's some extras.
Yeah, we'll give them to the.
See, go back. Go back. What did you give me a call?
Excuse me.
Sir.
It is the
Yeah,
No More
yes,
Hashtags
gun
protest.
violence, yes.
Extra information?
Yes, the information is actually on within the proposal,
On the
so if you guys want to
website,
contact me
okay.
afterwards, you can do that from there. Take care.
Are you going to stay through the duration of this meeting?
I can, if that.
Okay, could you speak with the manager after the meeting?
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Well,
Good evening, Madam President. How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Mayor and council members. I'm here in reference to, it was another accident on Church Lane and McDade Boulevard. And it's very concerning. Do we know if PennDOT is going to put speed bumps out there? I know that they have put the arrows out there, but I guess that that's not helping. So do we know where we are with that, and is speed bumps and to make it also? And also with the way that that street, it has that dip in it. So are they going to fix that dip?
We are, in terms of the speed humps, PennDOT doesn't allow it in a borough like ours, but they do in Philadelphia. And since they allow it in Philadelphia, our engineering firm petitioned and sent a form in, and they're working on, hopefully they will allow us to have it going in a westerly direction, easterly direction on McDade Boulevard. So
Okay.
that's in the process.
Okay. And Madam President, originally when we had brought the issues up with McDade and Church Lane, the residents and myself and even Vice President Levin Johnson, we met with residents out there in PennDOT, and they were supposed to meet along with the residents also. So we never knew what happened with that. So can we still get that meeting together so that we're able to meet alongside with PennDOT and with you all so that we can all know exactly firsthand what is going on? And before my time is up, I wanted to commend Loren on what's coming up this weekend. It's going to be nice after COVID to have some activities going on in this borough. And borough manager, I commend you. We see you out in the street all the time, especially at night. Doing things. And we definitely want to thank you. I was in love with Larry when he was the borough manager because he was always out there. And to see another borough manager that's active in this borough, I applaud you. And thank you.
Madam Council, is it possible that what she asked for as far as the meeting can be read so that anyone in the...
Certainly, Ms. Johnson, certainly. Ms. McDonald, Penny McDonald.
This was a second that we had.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I tell you, I'm really happy to be here tonight. And it's calm, it's cool, everybody's respectful. Hurrah, hurrah for you guys. I'm here in reference to some old business. I've noticed that people are bringing some things up about new business. Now, at the last month's meeting, there was a senior who came up and she said something in reference to us going bankrupt.
Can you speak?
Because, I'm not speaking loud enough? I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Just tap and see this one.
Okay, that goes into my 3 minutes. Can you hear me now?
Jeff, can you help me?
It don't sound like it's so.
Okay. All right. You all heard me when I said that. Congratulations to you guys for tonight. Okay, let me move on. So I'm going to bring up some old business. I thought about it. I have a lot to say, but I have to curtail it because I don't have a lot of time. But there was a senior who came up and she made a statement that other seniors were worried that we were going to go into bankruptcy because of being sued. And then Sharon, who very eloquently explained that we have insurance. However, what our seniors don't know and what our residents don't know, that the actions of our former borough police chief is going to affect our general budget and it's going to affect our taxes. So you all need to be aware of that. Some of you up here howling and screaming and saying what we need, but the decision that was made by not only the police chief, but by the mayor and by the former council president put us in hock. That's where we can go bankrupt, over $400,000 with their consent and with the objections and the protests of the Fraternal Order of Police, who stated if we needed some financial help, if we needed manpower, they were there to help us. But that was ignored. So if we go to court, I'll be there to protest anything that is stated on behalf of the police chief that's going to affect my taxes here in Yeadon Borough. So the fact that his contract wasn't renewed, he was not fired, and I like Chacha, I like it. But when you're going to affect my taxes as high as they are now, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I just wanted to make sure you all are not being duped into thinking that we need to bring somebody back that made the decision, that made the decision that is okay for them to go over the budget. Now, we have a budget. The police budget is the major budget that takes from our general fund. Major. And so for him to go over $400,000 is not right. And the mayor consented to it, and so did the former president. So I just wanted to make sure that you're not duped into thinking that it's okay and that we need to bring it back. Okay, thank you for my time, and I hope I said it within.
Consent order said that there was no wrongdoing.
Mr. Brooks.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I just had a question. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was telling me something about a pay-through or something that Spencer was giving some money, and they were wanting to pay through. I just need somebody to explain what a pay-through is.
What's the pay? Never heard of it.
Does anybody know what it is?
Say it again.
A
I don't know what that is.
Huh?
Pay off, I heard.
No, not pay off. It's a pay-through.
Context.
Huh?
What context are you using this word? Who?
Somebody getting paid off?
No, nobody's getting paid off. No. It's called a pay-through. Yeah.
Oh, it's a channel of where funds go through?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
All right.
You know what it is, yeah. Somebody was talking to me about that, and he was explaining to me that a few of our representatives was talking to these people about that, where the dispensary was going to give them $5,000 or something. I just want to know if anybody was aware of that.
I'm not aware,
Nobody's aware of it?
but you can make me aware.
Well, I will. When I get the rest of the information, I will. I just want to know what that word was, a pay-through. That's
$5,000?
5,000 on one end and 10,000 on the other. There's a couple people.
No, but what I'm saying is
No, when I get the information, I'm going to bring it to you. I just wanted to find out what it was, because once I find out what, then I know what to do.
and some names.
Okay, I will. Thank you. That was my question.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe that's the Joel Avery payment, maybe that's the pay for 4,500 here.
No.
4,500, 4,500.
No, it was $10,000.
Thank you. Order, please. Order, please. That's it. Thank you for all the citizens that have exercised your constitutional right to speak in the meeting. Thank you. Now for reports. Consideration.
I had a request to be on there. I don't know what happened.
Oh, Mr. Trent. Mr. Trent, my apologies. You're on the, Mr. Trent, come on up.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, you kind of got.
I know.
They always do that. Never get a chance to talk.
I'm popular around here. Good evening, everybody. I had some things I wanted to talk about. One thing that could be looked at from the streets is a Baird Avenue where it intersects at Stetzer. That is really a rough patch of road. That could be looked into. With the newsletter, why did we spend $1,200 to have the newsletters hand delivered? Because that's, spent a lot of money to print very little info that, as Clara said, only had like 8 pages, and previous newsletters were more informative. Plus, I don't think they were hand delivered, and $1,200 is a lot to be paying. I'd have done it for $4. Will there be a community affairs report since none was given at the workshop?
Could you repeat that?
Will there be a community affairs report since none was given at the workshop? Is that a yes?
That is a yes at the next workshop meeting.
Okay.
I don't mean to answer you, Mr. Trent, because really, we're not here to answer the questions in this platform.
Some people, but not for sure about
excuse me.
Stop the clock.
After,
No, if you start talking, then my time goes off.
after the meeting,
Yes.
you can direct your questions to the manager.
You don't even answer emails.
That's what we're.
You don't answer questions in any format.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, considering the manager, I noticed that, you're going to be switching from interim to permanent, and interim always means temporary. So in these first 5 to 6 months, why wasn't there a search done for a permanent replacement as opposed to just, letting him sit there for $95,000? Also on the agenda, you have, I think there's Kelly Johnson as the webmaster. Will they be assuming part of Gary Cord's responsibility? And if so, will Gary's compensation be reduced?
All counselors don't know about those people.
And what's the compensation for this position? I know it wasn't advertised, and what will be their responsibility since it's branching off from what Gary was doing? Also, I didn't hear anything.
Thank you.
I didn't hear anything about at the workshop regarding the application for using the Borough Hall for rentals. I'd actually volunteer to help in helping put that together. I have 5 years experience managing a banquet hall in Philadelphia. And right now, I understand alcohol consumption is allowed there, which can be a problem and can lead to some of the accidents we've had recently. So I'd be willing to help in regards to putting that application together, because that's very, very important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Trent. Okay. So some of your questions will be answered in the following agenda items. Consideration of accounts payable. Excuse me. For June. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions?
I have questions.
Yes.
I see here for the newsletter, we paid a total of $11,018. That's unheard of for the borough newsletter. That's unacceptable as well. I also see here that we're paying a total of $4,000 for a DJ/band for Flag Day. Will he be performing the entire time? Or is it only for a limited amount of time, maybe 3-4 hours? So we're going to pay a total of $4,000 for a few hours?
He will be performing whenever necessary.
That's too much. That's too much. Also, $4,000. Also, I see here, we're still paying a little over $1,600 for iPads, phones. No one utilizes the iPad. I don't even have an iPad. But yet and still, we're spending this money each and every month. I also see here that we're spending $1,500 for the car show trophies. We're also spending, it looks like $70 for Flag Day banner to be updated. And just last month on the accounts payable, Flag Day updated banner for $185. It looked like that was for the car show banner to be updated. I don't understand why we're paying this type of money for the car show, and it's my understanding that the person who is actually responsible for the car show, he's actually charging a fee for contestants. So we're paying for trophies, banners,
advertisement in addition to him getting separate monies for himself. That's ridiculous, and it should not be. It should not be. I also see here $603 for lawn signs. Where? I only seen very few lawn signs, and they were like maybe 12 inches high, just enough for a dog to lift up his leg and handle his business. That's ridiculous. We never had lawn signs before for advertisement for Flag Day.
The writing's too small to see when you're driving by. The only word I can think of is concert.
Okay.
In addition, I do comb through these expenses. In addition, we're spending $981 for waste receptacles. I'm going to assume these are like trash cans that are disposable, so we don't have to have Public Works keep coming back and forth dumping the trash out. Is my assumption correct?
Were you asking me a question?
I don't know. Okay.
No questions, no.
Okay. I also see, well, for Zeo Productions, we're paying close to $7,000. I understand that. That's for the fireworks and things of that nature. I can understand that. But I say all of that to say, we're being wasteful with our spending. We're being wasteful. You know, we have a serious public safety issue happening right now. I just posted maybe a day ago some syringes that were found in broad daylight. Okay, well, but they left the syringes behind on the pavement. You understand what I'm saying? And we're only going to be hiring one part-time officer. We're already down 5 officers, and we're just hiring one part-time. I'm speaking. See, that's because there's no respect. But you want the respect. In addition to that, the way this is set up right now, with the mayor sitting on the side. He's the mayor. He should be up front, next to the council president. It's been nothing but total disrespect since January 3rd. And everybody who's putting up with it is just as responsible for the nonsense.
Okay,
Well, yeah, you don't want to work together. This is what you want.
But this is what y'all do.
Okay.
Just running through the line.
Hypocrites.
Counselor, I want to review for the benefit of counselors here and for the residents that are there and those that are viewing us, will view us on the recordings. Yeadon Borough Accounts Payable Summary List by Fund, dated June 16, 2022, as provided by our accounting department and our finance director, Mr. Nichols. The general prepaid items already released, $22,494.68. The accounts payable items to be paid, $219,503.03. The total on general expenditures for this month, $241,997.71. The refuse and sewer combined $593,919.82. Capital improvements, $1,475. The motor license fund, $7,757.15. Your payroll through June 2nd, $255,965.66. On June 2nd, $154,643.50. Your total payroll for June, $410,609.16. The grand total for all of our accounts payable and payroll, including administration, highway, code, council, which is a roughly $200 a month for each counselor up here. The grand total AP payroll, $1,325,603.61. Now you can take that, it's going to be on our website. We will make some decisions today with regards to personnel, with regards to a part-time police officer. But you need to know that your budget in this municipality is roughly $6.1 million. What is not accentuated here tonight is concerns over cost for Flag Day. I will remind you regarding Flag Day or the newsletter, each administration will determine what they're going to spend for a particular item, and it is done with rigor. It is not arbitrarily made. Cost of living increases across the board, gasoline and everything else. Those things are brought into consideration. We are mindful of what is being spent, and thanks to Mr. Nichols, who is not present here tonight, he had a family situation, he wasn't able to be here, but he is planning a presentation at our next council meeting in July that will be a full PowerPoint presentation where you're able to see where all of your dollars are spent as residents year to date. Not that we are concerned, but we are concerned, but we are concerned that you get a complete picture of what's going on here. Thanks to Mr. Nichols, some of the contractors that have been a part of our system for years contributed $10,000 to offset the cost of this Flag Day celebration. We do that every year. For 2 years, and during the pandemic, we were not able to gather. So things have increased. There is some increase in cost. But we're not frivolous with your dollars. We want you to know that. And I appreciate Councilor Roadcloud for being the watch person on the wall. So I want to just encourage you, all of you, to support what we're doing. And if you see us, you have a complaint or a criticism, we're open. We work for you. You elected us to do this job. We want to do it to the best of our ability. And we need your feedback. We need your support. We need you to hold everyone on this platform accountable to do the work that you have elected us to do, and to do it with the highest amount of respect back to you. Thank you.
I would also like to state that in reference to Flag Day, there will be things for children to do. There will be something of interest for every single person. Come out, enjoy yourself. It's been a couple of years. Let's have a nice time and let's have some camaraderie. And as a matter of fact, I am right on budget. Mr. Hunter and I are right on budget. Thank you.
Thank you. With respect to this budget here, I see we have it says delivery service. And it looks like one of the individuals is actually an employee of the borough. So that's a little concerning because I can't decipher whether or not these newsletters are being delivered while this person is supposed to be working.
They're not.
But how do we actually know that?
Because I'm the borough manager, I made sure that he would not be working, and he did it in the previous administration as well.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And not only that, here's the problem. If we're going to be hiring subcontractors, I'm assuming they will be getting a 1099. If we're going to be hiring people to do subcontract work, we should have people submit the proposals so that we can go with the best price.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Let me just add one other.
And the newsletters were $11,000 was not for Flag Day.
Counselor, let me just mention to you here, I'm not sure if the residents are aware or council members are aware, we have had 2 occasions of mailings through the post office with our registered bulk mail permit that have not been delivered. And that is why the council and myself with Mr. Dodson, we polled neighbors after neighbors with the last 2 mailings that we paid for the mailings and they were not delivered. Only a few sections, few precincts in the town actually got the mail, and we have not been able to recover any refund from the United States Postal Service.
Not everyone got these hand deliveries from the code officers either.
So that is in fact one of the reasons that we've gone to hand delivering anything that we want to make sure the residents get a copy of from the borough here. There will be some changes. Everyone will not agree, but we can certainly agree to disagree, and we can certainly move forward to the betterment of service to the town. Thank you. Next on the agenda, I'm sorry, the vote is on the floor. We've really been talking. Any other questions? Hearing none, I will call for the vote to approve the accounts payable list and expenditures for the month of June. All in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? Those opposed, would you indicate?
I oppose.
The motion carries. Thank you.
Please have the record reflect the names of the people.
Please.
The names are here, I'm checking it off.
Thank you so much.
Ms. B, I'm sorry, I didn't catch yours. Was it no?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, consideration for the cash balance report for May. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly second for our cash balance report for May. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? The vote
It's 5-2.
I oppose.
One opposition, so 6-1. The motion carries. Thank you. Under new business for consideration, for the interim borough manager, Mr. Isaac Dodson, to become the official borough manager. Yes. No.
It's
6-1.
It's 5-2.
Ms. Councilor B. Councilor B.
Ms. Monroe.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Gotcha. Thank you. I'm sorry. Consideration for the interim borough manager, Mr. Isaac Dodson, to become the official borough manager. May I have a motion? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Councilor B.
My question is, how, it was asked during the citizens forum, why wasn't this position posted? Why weren't any other residents or even people in general considered? Why weren't we part of the hiring process? Why weren't we given a resume to look at? We have no information on Mr. Dodson to date. Just because he has council experience, just because he had other experience, he did not have the experience running a municipality. So I felt that other people should have been considered in this time that he was interim. It was no reason to make him an interim if we weren't going to be looking at other people. That's the whole point. You make a person an interim because he's doing the job until we find someone else. So this was just irresponsible in my opinion. Other people could have been considered. There were other people interested in this job all over Delaware County, and were not even considered, so. It's not a question, it's a statement.
Your comments, Councilor Beatty, are duly noted. Are there any other comments?
I have a comment.
Councilor Roadcloud, you're acknowledged.
I echo Councilor Beatty's comments. In addition, I have no idea what the salary recommendation is in order for him to be the borough manager. Again, we're failing the community. This is nepotism, favoritism, and any other ism that I can't think of right now. No one, this position was not advertised. We asked that it be advertised, and it was never advertised. So it's my understanding that certain counselors get to pick and choose what positions get advertised, and that's not right. As far as a personnel committee, I'm unaware of a personnel committee. No one was actually appointed to the personnel committee. So how did this even come about? Whose unilateral decision is this?
She's not gonna add you.
This is why we don't.
Are there any other observations? Any other counselor? Councilor Jones Waters, you have the floor.
So I would just like to say, as a second term council member, that this is common practice. The old administration also hired individuals that had no municipality experience, and they sat in that seat. And there was no argument or no controversy or anything. The council president at that time did as she pleased, and she hired 2 firms that had no municipality experience.
You know it was an argument.
Criminal defense lawyers.
Council, are you finished, Councilor?
I am done.
So if somebody jumps off the cliff,
Councilor,
follow behind.
Councilor Johnson has the floor.
I've known Mr. Dotson for quite some time. I've worked with him on the Yeadon Economic Development Corporation, and he has in fact been president of council previously. He's been a councilman previously. He's been a vice president previously. Honestly, I don't know anyone in this borough who knows more about this borough. He is a resident. He truly loves this borough.
Councilor, please. Councilor.
He truly loves this borough, and in 6 months, I feel, my personal opinion is, he has done an excellent job, and there is no reason that we should look in service.
Why did you require a 47K assistant?
It should be based upon the qualifications and doing things
The
the right
thing
way.
is, there hasn't been a borough that we had Larry Healy, who had no experience. We had
Councilor, okay, we're gonna pass on this. Okay, all in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? Those that oppose?
No.
And no again. And we still don't have
The motion-
the salary. We
the
still
motion
was not
carries.
told the salary.
The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, I think you deserve it.
Thank you.
The next consideration, excuse me. Next consideration For council to hire Kelly Johnson as the new webmaster with the, upon contract written by solicitor being accepted by council and Ms. Johnson. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded.
First,
Moved second. Okay. I also want to interject that we did have an executive session prior to this meeting tonight where these personnel matters were discussed fully. Consideration for Kelly Johnson. I've gotten a motion and second. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes?
Was this position advertised?
Mr.
Did
Dawson?
we receive any other proposals?
The answer is no, no. As we discussed in the
That's
executive.
enough, thank you.
No, excuse me, thank you.
That's enough, thank you.
You got it.
No,
She's
no.
done.
So,
Thank you.
No, we're not.
I would like to say that we did get a recommendation from Mr. Matthews Nichols concerning this individual.
Thank you, Councilor Jones.
So what?
Okay, any further comments? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, which indicate by raising your hand. Those opposed?
No.
The motion carries.
Did you see my hand, Mr.
Oh, you
Did you see my hand?
Just now.
What was my vote?
No.
I'll have to see it.
All right.
I know your vote, but thank you.
You ain't right.
No, that's okay. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it.
Consideration for the hiring of Jerome Kennard as part-time officer for the Yeadon Police Department, as recommended by our acting chief, Lieutenant Barnes.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to hire a part-time police officer, Mr. Kennard, as a part-time officer for the Yeadon Police Department. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, you have. You have the floor, Councilor.
Can we read the,
No.
we can't read the little
No,
thing that
ma'am.
was given to
No,
us?
ma'am, we can't read that.
Oh, really?
No.
So
Only-
we can't.
It can only be discussed in executive session.
We're
It's
just talking about
personnel.
credentials.
It is restricted, Counselor.
Solicitor.
Sadly, I would agree. I would prefer that this type of,
Yes, you
I mean,
cannot.
No, because it didn't have any of our credentials on it. It basically was just talking
that's
about.
fine. That's fine to talk about, but I would, if you're saying that
You
I
can't do it, Counselor.
wasn't given any credentials, that's fair, but I would not
You
read that.
cannot read
Okay.
that.
Thank you,
cannot.
solicitor.
Okay.
You understood about that law degree, right?
Oh, dear.
Thank you.
The motion is.
Okay, the motion.
Okay.
This is just.
It's 8:10, that's what I come on, you can do what you want to do, let's go.
Call for the vote.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, which indicate by raising your hand. Those that are opposed.
No.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Consideration for the hiring for 2 workers in the Highway Department, Public Works. The first person is Jamie Rehas. Reyes. Thank you. Full-time Public Works employee.
Excuse me.
And it's high man.
Thank you.
What is
High man.
Oh, hi, Miss. Oh, you got your fast. Espanol, come on, talk to me. Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions? It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions?
Everybody, even you, you talk to, so everybody's working. And don't try to question me when I say so. That's all. I want anything you want.
Officer, can you maintain the order? Maintain the order, please.
You better tell them to turn around because they're disturbing the meeting. I'm sitting back here, I'm not looking at them. Tell them to turn around. I'm not disturbing the meeting.
Councilor Clark, let's calm down. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Both of you, relax.
I mean, I can turn and look when she's supposed to scream.
Not when she tells them and belittle me, she's not. Thank you. And I don't even.
We're adults, come on. All right, let's calm down.
Belittling yourself.
Have orderly progression of the meeting.
Okay, all in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand?
Hold on, real quick. This is my first time hearing y'all all acting like some kids. Can we like pull it together, please?
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Mr. Grove.
Those opposed? Those opposed? To the highway candidate?
No.
Oh, I didn't even vote, I'm sorry now.
Okay. The motion carries. Consideration for the hiring of Gary Johnson as a full-time public works employee.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Hearing none. All in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? Those opposed?
No.
No.
All right, for the minutes, as you may recall, last month, we tabled the minutes of a more thorough examination of the recording device to get a complete recording and transcription of those minutes. So here tonight, we have March 2nd, 2022 workshop meeting minutes, April 21, May 2nd, and May 19th. Are the minutes, are there any, I'd like a motion to accept the minutes. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions, additions, deletions?
I have a question.
Okay.
There's minutes on the website that have not been voted on, but they're on the website nonetheless. They should not be on the website until they're approved.
Yes.
So
I will have my assistant, and I will take responsibility for it, number one, and it will not happen again, Madam Council.
you don't have to call me Madam Council, that's fine.
Miss Roquel, Councilor Roquel, whatever you prefer.
And I'd like to, on April 21st, it states that the food giveaway is on the 3rd floor. It's now on the 1st floor, so just everybody knows where it is. That's on page 4.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Call for the vote. All in favor would you indicate by raising your hand? Those opposed?
No.
No.
The motion carries. All right. Within the President's report, I want to direct your attention to Councilor Loren Johnson for a proclamation establishing, as Vice President Yeadon Borough, a proclamation for the recognition of Juneteenth as a, here, I'm going to take it from you. On behalf of all of council, recognizing Juneteenth as an official day of celebration and acknowledgement of the historic event that involved the liberation of African Americans throughout the United States who did not know that Abraham Lincoln had made the Declaration of Independence freeing slaves in America.
Not the declaration.
You're right, not the Declaration. It's Emancipation Proclamation. Equal, yeah, thank you for the correction.
And I won't read the whole thing.
But she'll give it to you. Thank you.
I have with it the Juneteenth history, and it says, now therefore, be it resolved, I, Loren Johnson, Vice President of Yeadon Borough Council, do hereby put forth this proclamation to declare Sunday, June 19th, 2022, as Juneteenth in the borough of Yeadon, and urge all citizens to become more aware of the significance of this celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation, and borough and proclaim that in the future, annual Juneteenth celebrations will take place at Yeadon Borough Community Park.
Thank you, Councilor. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this proclamation from the full Borough Council, who will be also noted on this proclamation. May I have entertain a motion to accept the proclamation? It's been moved and properly second to accept and establish a proclamation for the celebration of Juneteenth for the Borough of Yeadon. All in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? Those opposed?
I had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, are there any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. So with respect to this proclamation, I just received a copy this evening. So I haven't had an opportunity to really read through it before attaching my name to it. So basically, we're just saying June 19th is the official Juneteenth day for the Borough of Yeadon. Is that what we're saying?
That would be for this year.
I'm sorry?
For this year would be Sunday, June 19th. In future years, the date will be
Are we celebrating it this year?
on June 19th.
This
We
year?
will not have it in Community Park, but it will be announced at the Flag Day.
Is the borough celebrating Juneteenth this year?
Yes, there's some activities.
Where?
Library.
At the Flag Day, library, and now swim club.
I didn't see any advertisements with respect to Juneteenth.
Well, maybe not, but I spoke about it, and it will be there. At the workshops, I spoke about it.
Flag Day was advertised.
Yes, so was Juneteenth.
Okay.
So, Madam Council, what is your pleasure?
All in favor, would you
I
indicate?
have another question. Does this mean that our borough employees off tomorrow?
On Monday.
Okay, so we are celebrating it with the day.
It is a legal holiday.
It's our legal
And does the proclamation say that from?
It does state so. It does.
Okay, all right. That's all my question.
Madam President, did I hear it was full unanimous or was it?
No, there was a,
I don't think
there was a roll call. Okay. Councilor Roll Cloud, your vote?
I really don't want my name attached to any of you, but okay, yes.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
All right.
Well, we don't have one row, so it's
For those who are present. So the vote is unanimous, the motion carries. Okay. Before the President's report, I want to report to you that we had a very successful conference with the Pennsylvania Association of Boroughs that occurred 3 weeks ago in Hershey, Pennsylvania. A lot of information, educational information for persons who are elected officials. There are approximately 900 plus boroughs in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And there was about 450 people attending that particular gathering. I would encourage councilors, whether they're new or whether they've been on council for a while, to take advantage of the resource that the Pennsylvania Association of Boroughs provides to boroughs and elected officials, both mayors, managers, and councilors, updated information on new legislation that impacts our communities, information and training on how to conduct yourself in meetings, the power of the president, the power of the mayor, or the function of the mayor. All of that information, we provided some of those handouts here today for any of you who are interested in learning more about what it takes to be a responsible elected official. In addition to that, was announced at the workshop meeting that we are in full recruitment for a search committee for a new chief of police for the borough of Yeadon. That may or may not be in agreement with residents in and out of residents in our town, but we are in the process of doing that. In addition to that, I've gotten a lot of support from members of our community with regards to the newsletter. The newsletter has, I got a call from one resident that said, thank you for giving a good vibe, a good presentation of our town. And, you know, so I'm very happy to report that. Some people, you know, you can't please everybody, and people have different preferences, and that's your right. But just because it's your right doesn't denounce someone else's right to enjoy it. So I just want to share that. In addition to that, the selection committee hopefully we'll have that framed out within the next week or so, and there will be a ad in the paper with regards to that, a press release with regards to that. This is really unfortunate. The actions of our mayor in our legislative session of last month were unfortunate. We had an incident where the mayor would not turn over the microphone to me in the meeting, and we had to cancel that workshop. There was another event at the meeting last month at our legislative session where the mayor attempted to put a motion on the floor. That is totally wrong and not allowed. And so, and then it indicated to the other two councilors to put the motion on the floor and to attempt to pass it, to offer residents $15,000 in contributions from the council, which is totally out of line. So those kinds of things you just can't do. And I've served on this council over 15 years. Within three decades, within 30 years, I've spent 15 years representing residents on this council. And so having to go through that experience, excuse me, having to go through.
It's okay for people to be calling out and saying things like that? And you're not going to say anything? She didn't say that to you when you did it.
I don't need to say anything, ma'am.
Excuse me?
I don't need to say anything.
Okay.
So, and you know, that's another issue where I met with the mayor almost 2 months ago now, where we agreed, with the solicitor being present and with the manager being present, we had agreed that having law and order, having orderly conduct in these meetings are just as important in this chamber as they are out on the street. If there's disorderly conduct on the street, and they can respond to disorderly conduct with residents outside of this building, why can't they, at the bequest of the mayor, do the same thing inside of this building to maintain order? The mayor agreed that 2 warnings that people will be asked to, that the police officer that's standing here tonight could escort people out of the chamber if they were behaving badly. The mayor reneged on his agreement the following month and instructed the officer, and instructed the, just like she's disrupting, the mayor said, no, don't have any contact with the audience. But what the mayor forgets,
Is this the business
excuse,
of the
what the
borough?
mayor,
Business of the borough.
excuse me, this is the president's report, Councilor Rose.
If we're not going to conduct the business of the borough,
You are out
this
of
is not the
order.
business.
You
This
are
is
out of
personal,
order.
and it's not the business of the borough.
It is the
And
business
nobody
of
wants
the
to
borough.
sit
Yes,
here
it
and
is.
listen to you preach a bunch of lies.
Yes, it is.
Councilor,
This is not the business of the borough. It's not. We will have the engineer's report. We need the engineer's report. We need the committee's report. We need public safety.
I am going to call for a vote of no confidence in this mayor for breaking his word, not only to this council, but to you. The motion is on the floor.
That's just
Vote of no
ridiculous.
confidence for the mayor.
That's ridiculous. If you need a vote of confidence against the mayor, we should call for a vote of confidence against you.
It's been moved and properly seconded, a vote of no confidence for the mayor. Those are any questions?
What is that? A vote of no confidence determining that?
They're being rude, and your police officers can't do anything about it. I made the.
Can you please explain?
I made the,
Second.
Okay, so now we're on questions. My
Show
question
us
is,
that
what
in the
is
code
this?
book, and you have that authority.
You have no authority to speak out and disrupt this meeting.
Mr. Miles, you need to educate me. Please, please educate me.
Is there a question?
Yeah, I've been asking
There is no legal implication. This would be a political statement.
Wait a minute,
There's no
hold it.
legal implication. The mayor is an elected official.
Right.
So if this motion passes, it just means that 4 councilors have said they have no confidence in the mayor. They cannot remove him from office. That's not legal implication.
Just to embarrass the mayor. That's all that's about, to embarrass the
This is
mayor.
definitely a Trump.
It is. That's all it is.
He has no,
sometimes the president was embarrassed.
Oh.
That's right. The president was embarrassed.
So what are we accomplishing by voting for no confidence? What is that?
No confidence is a validation of the mayor breaking his word to this council and to the residents of this community.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Wait a minute, I wish I was with you.
All in favor, would you indicate by raising your
Let's play
hand?
this game. All in favor?
No confidence in the mayor.
No confidence in you.
Those opposed?
He's elected.
Those opposed?
Opposed of no confidence?
Opposed, yes, of no confidence.
Oh, Lord, this is, okay.
Okay.
I oppose the no confidence. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you should abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, she abstains.
All right.
I oppose.
So I oppose.
The motion carries. The motion carries. Thank you.
That's why this is a bunch of, it was a waste of time.
Okay, now, all right. Okay, and that it be recorded in the minutes.
But we're supposed to be working together, right? Come together. Come together.
Okay?
Respect everybody.
Sometimes you gotta let it go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, y'all ain't ready to
This
let
is,
it go.
it's a serious matter. It's a serious matter when the mayor offers residents compensation.
It was a suggestion, Council
And
President.
when that happens, you know what the results are. We're getting letters of being sued. So when, excuse me, so when the mayor raises his hand in this platform and pledges to protect this town and its laws and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, when he is sworn in as mayor and he stands up and makes that pledge and that swearing and that promise, and then calls people outside, residents, misleads them that they can bring legal action against this town, he is derelict in his duty to represent the interests of the town and the protection for the town.
You said it doesn't matter if anybody sues us, that the insurance company takes care
Excuse
of
me, it matters. It does matter. It does matter that people sue us. Now, I can say the last comment that I'm making is that this council, it was reiterated in our training at PSAB, that the power of this council to hire and fire, it's these 7 members of this council has that authority. The police budget is more than $400,000 for 18 police officers.
Can y'all please be quiet so we can hear the president?
like to ask that I would like my report to be submitted because I read it and approved, because I read it at the workshop. If councilors prefer, I can read it again, but I would like to have.
Don't read it again.
Thank you.
Except for the feasibility study.
Oh, yes, I'd just like, for the benefit of council and the residents, the feasibility study has been completed. I'm excited to say that it's, if we were ever to move on having a recreation center at the Yeadon Swim Club, it's not only doable with some revision by way of zoning, but the ideas that are put forth, the drawings, everything. I mean, if we were ever able to get to that point, we would have a fantastic location for the recreation center. And I'm glad that our counselors have had the opportunity to look at the feasibility study. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with them about it. I forwarded it to our director of public works and our engineer. So I'm looking forward to discussing the feasibility study in the very near future.
It was very.
I have a question for the, related to this feasibility study. So, bottom line, it says nothing about how we will be able to sustain this facility.
It is only a feasibility study. Is it possible to build on that property?
Okay, we already knew it was
No, ma'am, that is not true. There are height requirements, there are width requirements, we would need a lot of variation.
Sustainability is my question.
Ma'am,
But
I don't
I
mind.
just want to know, how are we going to sustain
No,
it?
that is not, what I'm giving you as a borough manager is the completion of a feasibility study. I am not giving you information on how it's going to be built. That is finance, that is up to the legislature. My job was to get the job done in terms of the viability of having a building erected on that site. As a matter of fact, in the feasibility study, it is not just the recreation center. It's the recreation center, administration building, police station, all that was done. So we now, as councilors and residents, can see the possibility of what we have as borough property and what can be done with it. It is up to you guys to decide how to finance it. Ma'am.
Are we going to have a town hall to include the residents?
Yes, ma'am. You are legislators. You can do whatever you see feasible. I can't answer. I'm answering. I'm answering, ma'am, because that's
according to this feasibility study,
yes, ma'am.
I don't know who came up with the idea as to everything they wanted on that piece of parcel. So I'm asking, will everyone, including the residents, be involved with respect to what they actually want on that land to include a rec center?
Yes, ma'am. I would say as a resident and the borough manager, that I would highly recommend that the citizens would be involved in almost every aspect of building something on that property.
Okay.
And may I ask,
thank you.
can you consider having condos in that?
The truth of the matter is, due to the feasibility study, we now know that the property can be built upon. So yes, if the legislators or the council decided by way of a development that they wanted to pursue the idea of property, condos, townhouses, you now know that those things are possible on that particular piece of property.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think the engineer is prepared to talk about that this evening, but I think I can arrange. Of course, they had to talk about it in July. And we're going to have a summary by the architects about all that has taken place, so we will not be in the dark about everything.
Okay, thank you. All right, next, we have 4 other items that need to be a consideration for voting. The consideration for the Yeadon engineering firm, our local engineer, to perform a building property condition assessment of Borough Hall this was discussed in the workshop, for the amount of $11,500. That's a complete assessment. Yes, Rep.
Good evening,
As mentioned at the last work session, we brought up the building evaluation for $11,500. I believe there was previous questions answered by Jeff. If there's any specific ones I or Jeff can answer now, that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, that's just, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm calling for the vote.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any further questions with regards to this vote? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, which indicate by raising your hand. Those opposed?
No.
The motion carries. The next consideration is the approval of removal of mature trees at Borough Hall. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions?
Yes. Councilman.
Yes.
What's the purpose of removing these mature trees?
Mr. Dodson.
I will call on the Director of Public Works to answer that question.
Okay.
So if you take a look at the trees back there, one there.
Sir, if you'll stand up, please.
To the podium.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So if you take a look at the trees back there, one, they're over mature. They're too large for this, the site itself. If you notice, there's a lot of vines growing up through them, which causes a hazard to the public. You see the one right over there, for example, when you're walking out to your car, it's growing on the side of a garage.
Those little berry things?
Yeah, so that's a mulberry tree. So I had a number of companies come out, a number of arborists come out, and they were in agreement with us. So the plan is, take them down and start fresh and plan again.
Okay, thank you.
But be a little bit more strategic this time. in planning.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have a question. So, the shade trees that's being removed, on the, residence properties.
Yeah, so this is separate, this is different.
I know that. So, are we gonna finish that first before working on the removal of the trees from the borough?
Yeah, so I mean, it's two separate projects. The company, the outfit that we have the quotes from is large enough to do both at the same time.
Okay,
So,
okay. Because I don't want to feel like the borough has precedence and they're. working
yeah, no,
on
absolutely,
one
absolutely
person,
not.
Not the residents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Hearing none. All in favor, which indicate by raising your hand. Those opposed?
I approve.
Thank you very much,
The
Council.
vote is unanimous, the motion carries. Consideration of awarding the HVAC maintenance contract to Oliver Mechanical. It's been recommended by the manager to, in a cost savings effort, to have the air conditioning systems throughout the borough managed and maintained by a large commercial firm, opposed to a smaller firm that wanted to simply replace the units. Mr. Dodson, any further overview of that request?
No, I would definitely like to say to our Director of Public Works that he's done a fantastic job analyzing the situation for the benefit of the public. When you look at it, we do have lower quotes, but unfortunately, the gentleman or that particular firm is not in line with what we need both now and moving to the future in terms of saving the borough money. In choosing a mechanical company or the Oliver company, they have trained technicians that are certified. They're on time. They cost a little bit more, but it's quality over quantity, and that's why the two of us made the decision to move forward with a higher costing company. But if you think about it, we have lots of smaller air conditioning. Our current service outfit said, well, let's replace them. And this company said we can repair them, saving us thousands of dollars.
Okay, are there any questions?
I have a question. How much more are we paying?
Probably about $5,000 more.
Total?
Yeah, so it's a difference of $5,625. On the quotes I got last year, two of the companies were within $400 of each other. So that kind of weighs volumes with me. Why are these two companies up here close in range, and you got one all the way down here? So you have to give up something in order to get that price down.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? Yes, you were called for the
And I just want to get clarification. Who said pass, who said first and second?
So moved.
second.
Thank you.
Moved and properly second. All in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand?
I approve.
Thank you.
The vote is unanimous, the motion carries. Consideration for Pat Sherrill, promoted to full-time in the police department.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions? It's a personnel matter? Yes. Yes.
Do we have any information for Pat Sherrill, resume, recommendations, anything?
She's an employee for
So this is
11
just
years.
a promotion?
Yes, it's a
Okay,
promotion.
thank you.
From part-time to full-time. Okay. All in favor, would you indicate by raising your hand? Opposed?
I oppose.
The motion carries. Okay. I want to mention that for our July meeting, as we announced in the workshop, there will be no workshop meetings. They're suspended for July and August. But I had a meeting with the finance director on Tuesday of this week, and he has prepared a PowerPoint presentation on all of our financial reports for every department, where we are year to date with spending. And he's going to have that presentation at 6 o'clock on the next council meeting, the third Thursday in July. So we're inviting, it'll be on the website, we're inviting residents to come early for that presentation. If you normally attend the workshop, you'll be able to, and you've had several questions. I know a number of you have had several questions about the financial health of the borough and where we are. He'll be able to field those questions, as well as having handouts for the finance report, for the finance committee report. As Councilor Johnson mentioned earlier, there were all of the reports for heads of the departments in administration for the Borough of Yeadon were given on our workshop meetings. They were detailed reports that you have access to online, or if you don't have, if you aren't able to ascertain them there, you can certainly request a copy from those reports from our borough manager. They were very thorough. They were very well prepared and well presented. And so I'm going to ask for a motion to accept all of those reports as rendered on the workshop meeting night. So can I have a motion to accept the reports for the fire?
You forgot to get into the ears.
You didn't have a report last month, the workshop.
I'm referring to the heads of departments.
She said she's the head of the department.
No, I said there's no head of the department.
You said you're the head.
No, I did not. There's no head of the
Okay, there's a Councilor Jones Wallace. Okay, we are, I want a motion to accept the department heads. Okay, is there a second? Okay, but thank you, Councilor. It's been moved and properly second. It's been moved and properly second to accept the reports as given at the workshop meeting. All in favor, which indicate by raising your hand. The workshop meetings reports of the heads of departments. Okay. Those opposed?
I oppose.
Okay, the motion carries for acceptance of his Beatty approved. Okay. For the tax collector's report, I'm calling for that report now. She's here.
Here she is.
Yeah, we found. We did give the tax collector's report at the workshop, so we're glad to see her here tonight to bring the report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The tax collector report consists of the income taken in from 6/4/22 to 6/12/22. I'll give it to you in the face discount and the penalty, and I'll give it to you on the real estate, trash, and sewer. The face amount for the real estate during this time period was $123,417.88. The discount was $2,338.10. The penalty, $574.17. Under the trash, we collected $45,885. And on the penalty, $142.50. The sewer, $57,462.60. Under the penalty, $100.49. The grand totals on the face was $226,765.48. On the discount, $2,338.10. On the penalty, $817.16. Any questions?
I have a question.
Certainly.
I just want to be clear, because I did your report, it was well done. You said under the borough and sewer, I see 57,563.09.
What time period are you looking at?
I'm looking at the bottom of the page, dated 6/16, page 12 of 12.
Okay, but go to the other side that says from the time. What's the time period you're looking at? That's the date that the report was printed. What is the time period you're looking at?
I'm not going to ask you any other questions because I don't have the other page, so no. Thank you very much from my perspective.
You're welcome. Thank
May
you.
I ask a question?
Who said that?
Councilor Johnson?
Okay. What's your question?
A lot of people are getting letters about unpaid taxes from Portland. Can you explain to us what's going on? I also received one of those letters, although it was paid, so people are curious as to what is going on. Why so many people are getting these letters?
Well, actually, those letters, if they're getting the letters from Portland, they went out before I started serving.
Right.
So they got them because somebody reported them as having not paid. If they have proof that they've paid, we have a remedy for resolving that. So if you have proof that you paid the tax, because some people saying they got it and didn't owe, and they actually do because they have no proof that they paid it. So if you have proof, if you have proof that you paid it, bring it to me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
I have one other question. Can you give me your opinion on having a lockbox at the Borough Hall where people can drop off their money, as opposed to having the tax collector in the building in person 3 days a week?
Most people like to receive, like to receive a receipt when they move off their money. Secondly, most people have questions and other issues that we can't resolve if there's nobody here sitting here to help them resolve it. Just like I just told her, she said she received a bill that she actually had paid. Well, I can't allow that if she's not here to show me her proof and to deal with it and me get some clarity.
True.
You're welcome. That's it? Cool.
Okay. Did the engineer have any further comments or about the
No, that was
CDBG?
So CDBGs are due at the end of the year. So because I know what you guys are interested in, I'll keep an eye out for when that becomes available, and we'll discuss the scope further at that time. But it is on our list.
Great. Okay, thank you.
If nobody has any other questions, I'll excuse myself then.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Okay. Is there, did you have anything on the roll call?
No, I need to talk about
There was a question about, I'll put it out there. Councilor Johnson had asked if we could initiate robocalls to notify residents of special events or special situations. So the manager wants to review what the costs were in the past compared to what those costs are now. So we won't entertain that motion. We won't put a consideration on the floor.
It's more importantly to have an alert system.
Well, that's something the manager will research both the alert system and the robocalls. I know that the
especially we talk at workshops so that we can intervene with this. We cannot comment on something that you're doing on things like tonight. You're wasting time.
Counselor.
You're wasting time. Be quiet.
Can't talk to residents like that.
Oh, I do apologize.
No, she has no, she's a resident. I don't expect her to have respect for residents. But she can go on, she's not really over.
And she knows that she's a former council member, that she should be quiet. She knows that.
Stop it, please.
Okay, next, the solicitor's report, please.
You know,
The solicitor's report.
Public safety.
The solicitor's
Very quickly,
report.
I just wanted to say that I gave my report in the executive session.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, and,
Public safety obviously isn't important.
yes.
Because they're not trying to
Next
get
on
your
the
report.
agenda is the mayor's report.
Thank you.
Unless you want to hear this.
Mayor held a citizens forum on Thursday, June 2nd, and it was a little sparsely attended due to the weather. I do want to thank Councilor Talia Jones-Waters for attending, and Councilor Carlette Brooks and Kenny Brooks for attending, and I gave them fair play and asked them, introduced them and asked them to participate in the spirit of cooperation.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for attending. The report on the drug bust in Yeadon. There was a major drug bust last month where they confiscated close to $100,000 in cash and drugs, drug values. And I want to thank former police chief Paparo for, I believe he had a lot to do with that and getting Yeadon back into the Delaware County Drug Task Force so that we can utilize those provisions to help us crime at that higher level. And this was a year in the making. This just didn't happen overnight. Also reported on a mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Whenever these things happen, my job is to provide public safety and we always match ourselves, what went right, what went wrong, how do we, use that as an object lesson to do better. And one of the major problems of that situation was there's no sound command and control. We have that here. We have a SWAT team, but we also have our own active shooter training. The former police chief made sure that we had, went into the school district and made sure that we had that at least once a year. As a matter of fact, before he was dismissed, the day after he was dismissed, he was going to do the next one here. And he said we haven't had one since. Also, the other thing that we did and police chief did was make sure that we had keys to all the buildings, which we do. That's one of the problems they had there. They couldn't breach the active killer. They had no keys. Not only that, we have breaching materials so that, short of that, there are ways in which we could get, if someone barricades themselves in the school, we could get to that active killer. And don't say that it can't happen here, because it did. We had an active shooter 7 years ago at the Mercy Wellness Center on the Yeadon side. It happened in Yeadon. And our police busted that guy within 4 minutes. We went there within 4 minutes. There was another accident at Church in McDade. I know that it's brought up, sanctioning me for bringing it up on the floor. But what I bring up on the floor are suggestions. They're not made in law. They're suggestions, they're considerations of things that we could do. So to handcuff me and to put me in a slammer and to say that's improper, that's stupid. It's stupid. We deliberate in this body. I have no power to enact anything. This is an unusual situation where cars keep running into these homes, and since the last meeting, there have been 2 more crashes. They hit the side when the other neighbor was on vacation. The Williamses were on vacation when they severed the gas main, and they had to evacuate all these houses, the whole neighborhood. Okay, and they're still not in their house, and they need money. What we should do as women of God, people of God, judgment will be merciless to those who show no mercy. And we're called to be good Samaritans. Okay, I heard that in the Bible somewhere. Okay, and to handcuff me and to slam me for being merciful and to have merciful solutions, even if that's not the thing we agree with, is political and ungodly. At least I'm offering suggestions. What is your suggestion for the job? What is your suggestion? What are your suggestions? So, no, you had a lot to say.
I thought they were going to do a fundraiser.
Oh, yeah,
GoFundMe. Well, the Vice President, Lorraine Johnson, was charged with doing the fundraiser. They need money now. I ran into...
Are you ready to give your 1,000 up, Mayor?
I've already taken care of that. I've already
You
taken...
did? I didn't hear anything about it.
I can privately do what I...
You never said that you wanted to do it private. You never mentioned that.
That is not your I interrupt your censure of me. Please don't interrupt my report. Give me the same respect. Give me the same respect that you demand for yourself.
Mayor,
Give me the same respect that you jealously demand for yourself. Let me speak.
Yep, continue.
The censure of tonight, I'm not surprised, because that happened from day one. These are political opponents that ran against me, that slammed me. They all ran against me for election, and they couldn't defeat me at the ballot box, so they tried to banish me from the very beginning. Let me start. The very first meeting, they banned me from the executive session. I came like a little child. They shooed me away and told me I don't belong here. And then when I came to the meeting, the council president didn't allow me to speak. I had to leave and protest and sit in the audience. So this happened from day one, so I'm not surprised at the action of tonight. This is nothing new. It started from day one. Then, when they fired the chief, I was not consulted. They brought me in after the fact. They've made a decision that this is what's going to, they didn't consult me on what I thought. Even if they do hold the right to do what they want to do, they have the council has the power of the purse strings, but they didn't consult me. So disrespect number 4. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt your report. I did not interrupt your report.
You are lying. You are lying.
Say that afterwards. Let me finish my report. I did not interrupt you when you were sanctioning me for half an hour. I did not interrupt you. Do not interrupt my report.
That is not part of your report.
This is part of my report, and I can defend myself. I don't have a right to defend myself.
You are lying.
I don't have a right to defend myself. Okay? I don't have a right to defend myself. I'm not finished. Let me finish my report. I gave you the respect. I did not interrupt you with the half hour you sanctioned me. I didn't say anything. I gave you that respect. At least allow me to defend myself and give the mayor's report. I'm not even allowed to do that on your council.
Oh, stop pouting, Mayor. Please continue.
And what were you doing?
Please stop pouting.
Would you stop interrupting me? Do not interrupt me.
Respect goes both ways, Council Johnson. Respect everybody, even if you don't like, remember?
Number 4.
You know I'm telling the truth.
I was given, hold up. Number 4. I was given these 10 so-called facts linking me with the police chief. They're full of inaccuracies. They're full of half-truths.
No, they're not.
They're
true. They are true.
Listen, do not interrupt. Forget it. I cannot defend myself. They don't even give me the right to defend myself. Is that right? Is that godly? Is that ethical? You could say all you can for half an hour blasting the mayor, and I have no right to defend myself. Zero. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I'm blamed and scapegoated for every outburst, for any form that says that they look at Mayor, what do you do? I can't control everything. You have the right, you have the responsibility as council president to control the meetings. You have you take zero responsibility for anything, and you blame the mayor for everything. The newsletter, I wrote an article like I have the last 8 years. I submitted my mayor's article. When the newsletter came out, it was totally changed. Nobody told me it was changed. No one ever changed my article. It was totally changed. It was not what I submitted. Wait a minute. That's not what I submitted. Then number 3, they had an article below it said this Joy Hepkins from Mercy Fitzgerald gave the seminar. Who the hell is Joy Hepkins? She's my wife. No one says she's a Yeadon resident. No one says she's a wife of the mayor. Everybody knows Joy Hepkins. So you're blasting my wife too and putting my whole family in disrespect and disrespecting me and my family and my wife. Okay? I come in today, my seat has changed. Nobody gave me the respect to say, Mayor, we did this, we did that. It's like grade school. You put in a corner, you take time out, and you blast me personally. This is personal. This is personal. This is raw. This is ungodly. This is ungodly what you're doing to me, my wife. This is ungodly. You're raw. You're raw. Everyone that voted for it, yes, you're honest. You voted in that. All of this. You voted for this.
To the council that voted all of them. Don't just point at me.
I said all of you, all 4 of you, Carlette. All 4 of you.
A lot of things that you yourself and your friends, your cronies that has done ungodly things.
That's right.
So,
I'm not part of it. I've never done anything to you. I'm not part of it.
Yes, you are.
I'm not part of
Yes,
it.
you
I've
are.
never done anything against you.
It's
It's not my style. I don't do that.
Question with respect to public safety when you're finished.
Okay.
I'm done.
The meeting.
I have a question about public safety.
Okay.
We need to vote to adjourn.
You just and you didn't even inform the residents about the drug activity that is currently going on in the area of Westcott Street and Darnell, and the syringes that are being discarded on the sidewalks where the children play. But you adjourned the meeting.
Meeting is adjourned.
It's a plan.
plan.
Disrespectful, totally disrespectful.
But y'all wanna be respected.
Yeah,
I cannot respect you. I'm sorry, this is a bunch of nonsense. And I wish.
Totally political.
I don't know how you let these people bother you like that. Because they all